Everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm diving into a chilling tale that'll make you think twice about your next camping trip. Imagine this: a group of friends, a secluded clearing in the Appalachian Mountains, and the infamous Whispering Woods, a place steeped in local legends and eerie tales. We thought it was all just campfire stories, right? A bit of fun to spice up the night. But what started as playful ghost stories quickly spiraled into something far more sinister. The woods themselves seemed to come alive, whispering our names, pulling us into a nightmare we couldn't escape. This is the story of our terrifying encounter with the Whispering Woods, a place where the lines between reality and horror blurred, and where we learned that some legends are best left undisturbed. Get ready, because this one is going to send shivers down your spine. As the sun sank behind the jagged peaks of the Appalachian Mountains, the last vestiges of daylight faded, replaced by a canopy of stars stretching across the vast sky like diamonds on black velvet. I sat hunched over, tending the crackling campfire, its flames flickering shadows among the trees that surrounded us. The perfume of pine and damp earth mixed in the air, a scent both familiar and foreign, as the night deepened. Our group consisted of 5: me, Ryan, Laura, Clem, and Jess. We'd spoken about camping for weeks, sharing excitement that morphed into jittery glee as we set up our tents in a secluded clearing nestled just off the edge of the infamous Whispering Woods. Legends swirled around this forest. They said it was haunted, that odd things happened to those who wandered too far beneath its boughs. I had dismissed such tales with bravado, but as I looked into the flaring embers and listened to the wind rustling through the trees, I think a small part of me wondered. Hey, remember that ghost story about the lady in white? Laura said, her brown eyes glimmering in the firelight. The one who roams the woods at night looking for her lost child? I heard she lures men in with her cries, Clem added with a mischievous grin. And then she, his voice lowered, takes their souls. Shut up, Clem, Ryan scoffed, though his eyes were not entirely free from fear. It's just a stupid story. But that flicker of unease stirred within me, amplified by the wilderness that hugged us tightly. I swallowed and tossed another stick into the fire. The flames danced wildly, and a plume of smoke curled into the calm nighttime sky. I'll go next, Jess said. She brushed her long, blonde hair behind her ear and leaned closer to the fire, her face illuminated by the glow. You've all heard about the hunter, right? The one who gets lost in the woods and roams looking for his next victim. Yes. I heard he was a real person at first, Clem cut in, but then he got lost and turned. Write that into a myth, I interjected, suddenly caught between wanting to dismiss his words and the genuine chill that crept up my spine. Jess continued, ignoring us. People say he was a poacher and was cursed to remain in the forest for all eternity. He hunts by moonlight, his eyes glowing like embers, and if you hear a branch snap, it's said to be him getting closer. She cast a wary glance into the woods behind her, and the others chuckled, masking their discomfort. Are you sure it's not just a log cracking under the pressure? Ryan smirked, his bravado rising, too. Jess rolled her eyes, but there was a thin smile on her lips, as if she relished the eeriness of it all. The evening stretched on, filled with stories that slithered under our skin like cold fingers. With each tale, the ambience of the forest seemed to press in, the darkness dimmed our laughter, replaced instead by an unsettling tension. It was nearly midnight when Ryan finally declared, "All right, one more and then we should probably all turn in." "Mine is the best," Clem declared, grinning as he leaned closer to the fire. "This is about the Whispering Woods." He took a deep breath and let the suspense hang in the air. It's said that if you venture deep enough, you can hear the trees whisper your name. Strange, right? But listen. He tilted his head, listening as if he could hear it. The world around us seemed to hold its breath. After a few moments of silence, he continued, people who've been lost in those woods vanish completely. But the weirdest part? They say if you come back out, you're never the same. You start dreaming of the woods. And worse? You hear the whispers, almost calling to you, inviting you back. The fire crackled ominously, flames licking at the logs, and suddenly, a breeze swept through our clearing, freezing the blood in my veins. It carried with it a sound that made my skin prickle, a soft murmuring as if the wind itself was forming words just beyond our understanding. "Ha," Ryan said, laughing nervously, "it seems like the trees want us to stay." I forced a chuckle but turned to the woods, my heart racing. The night was alive, the shadows were movement. Clem's playful story had come too close to something far darker, more real than any of us anticipated. "Let's get some sleep," I suggested, standing up. "I'll take first watch." But as I glanced at Jess, I could see the worry in her eyes. We all felt it now, the weight of the night pushing us back to our tents. As we settled into our sleeping bags, I lay awake in the dark, my heart thudding rhythmically in my chest. I couldn't help but listen to the forest breathing around us. After long moments in silence, I heard it, the whispers. They were faint yet distinct, muffled voices sliding through the leaves and twigs. I strained to decode them, but it felt like they were deliberately eluding me. "Emily," they sighed. "Emily," my heart thudded harder. I wasn't the only one awake, after all. Peeking out of my tent, I scanned the darkness. Jess was stirring, her brow furrowed. Did she hear it too? And then I saw it, a flicker beyond the trees. A pale light, shifting softly, like a lantern glowing in the distance. My breath caught in my throat as I felt the pull of curiosity, the whispering beckoning me closer. "Hello?" I called, my voice a mere whisper myself. But as the forest responded, the wind picked up, deepening the eerie tone of the whispers that promised secrets, horrors. Suddenly, Jess burst out of her tent, a horrified expression plastered on her face. "Did you hear that? We have to leave, now." The urgency in her voice snapped me from my dazed state. "Wait!" I shouted, but she turned and began to sprint toward the edge of the clearing, the glow flickering behind her like a ghost. Without a second thought, I bolted after her, Clem and Ryan emerging from their tents in confusion. We bunched together, sprinting toward the trail leading back to the parking lot, the whispers growing louder, angry now. Stay with us," they hissed as if the forest resentfully recoiled at our retreat. Adrenaline surged as we raced away, the shadows of the whispering woods extending their fingers to grasp us. My heart pounded in unison with the frantic gasps of my friends. The grip of the forest was tightening. "Don't look back," Ryan yelled, but against every instinct, I glanced over my shoulder. The pale light was receding, but so were we. I couldn't see Jess anymore. "Stop. We need to find Jess," I screamed, wheeling around as dread washed over me. "We can't leave her." But as I shouted, a deep-rooted fear quenched my resolve. I felt myself mirroring the whisper's insatiable call, the haunting echo of the woods settling into my bones. "Emily. We can't," Clem urged, pulling my sleeve, his eyes wide and terrified. And so we ran. That night the trees whispered our names, and though we escaped the forest, I now knew the whispers would never fade. Inside the recesses of my mind, they persisted. Whispering, beckoning, hungry for the next soul lost beneath their ancient boughs. We made it to the car, but even as we sped away, I swore I could swear I could still hear the forest sighing. The days that followed were a blur of anxiety and guilt. I couldn't shake the image of Jess running into the woods, the pale light beckoning her towards an unknown fate. Sleep offered no respite, the whispers haunted my dreams, growing louder and more insistent with each passing night. They wove through the rustling leaves, the snapping branches, whispering my name with a chilling familiarity that made my skin crawl. Ryan and Clem tried to act normal, but I saw the haunted look in their eyes. We had all been touched by the whispering woods, marked by its insidious presence. Yet, they avoided the subject, burying the trauma deep within themselves, hoping it would fade with time. I knew better, though. The woods never truly let you go. One afternoon, I found myself drawn back to the trailhead. The memory of Jess, lost and alone, gnawed at my conscience. I had to know what happened to her, even if it meant facing the horrors that lurked within the forest. I'm going back, I announced to Ryan and Clem a few days later, my voice trembling but resolute. They exchanged worried glances. Emily, you can't be serious, Ryan said, his voice laced with fear. It's too dangerous. We need to find Jess, I insisted. I can't live with myself if I don't try. Clem shook his head. The woods, they changed her. They might have changed her into one of them. His words sent a shiver down my spine, but I refused to be deterred. Armed with a flashlight, a compass, and a heavy dose of trepidation, I returned to the whispering woods at twilight. As I stepped onto the trail, the familiar scent of pine and damp earth filled my nostrils, but this time, it carried a sinister undertone. The trees loomed overhead, their branches gnarled and twisted like skeletal arms reaching out to ensnare me. The whispers began almost immediately, weaving through the leaves, taunting me with fragments of memories and promises of dark knowledge. Emily, come closer, we have something to show you. Ignoring the insidious voices, I pressed deeper into the forest, following the faintest traces of the path we had taken that fateful night. The pale light was nowhere to be seen, but the whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if the woods were trying to coax me into its heart. I walked for hours, my flashlight beam cutting through the darkness, the silence broken only by the rustling of leaves and the occasional snap of a twig. I was starting to lose hope when I stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an eerie, ethereal glow. In the center of the clearing stood a towering oak tree, its branches adorned with strange symbols carved into the bark. And beneath the tree, I saw her. It was Jess, but she was different. Her eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and her skin was pale and translucent. She stood motionless, her gaze fixed on something beyond my perception. Jess? I whispered, my voice trembling with a mixture of fear and relief. She turned to me, her expression blank and vacant. Emily, she said, her voice a hollow echo of the girl I once knew. You shouldn't have come back. What happened to you? I asked, taking a tentative step closer. What did they do to you? They showed me the truth, she replied, her voice devoid of emotion. The truth about the woods, about the world, about everything. The truth? I repeated, my heart pounding in my chest. What truth? The woods are alive, Emily, she said, her eyes gleaming with a strange fervor. They have a consciousness, a will of their own. And they want us to be a part of them. No, I said, shaking my head in disbelief. That's not true. You're not yourself, Jess. You've been brainwashed. I've been enlightened, she corrected, her voice calm and chilling. And soon, you will be too. She raised her hand, and the whispers surged around me, growing louder and more insistent. I felt a strange pull, a hypnotic force drawing me towards the tree, towards Jess, towards the heart of the woods. Join us, Emily, Jess said, her voice a siren's call. Let the woods consume you. Let them show you the truth. I fought against the pull, struggling to maintain my grip on reality. I knew that if I succumbed to the whispers, I would lose myself forever. With a surge of adrenaline, I broke free from the hypnotic trance and turned to flee. But Jess was too fast. She lunged at me, her fingers digging into my arm, her eyes burning with an unholy light. "You can't escape, Emily," she hissed. "The woods have already claimed you." I screamed and wrestled free from her grasp, sprinting back through the forest, the whispers chasing me like a pack of ravenous wolves. I didn't stop running until I reached the edge of the woods, collapsing onto the road, gasping for breath. I had escaped, but I knew that the whispering woods would never truly release me. The whispers still haunt my dreams, taunting me with the truth I refuse to embrace. And every now and then, when the wind blows just right, I swear I can hear Jess's voice, calling my name from the depths of the forest, beckoning me back to the darkness. I know, deep down, that one day, I might just answer. And that, my friends, is where our story ends, or perhaps, where it continues. The Whispering Woods taught me a lesson I'll never forget: some places hold secrets best left undisturbed. It's easy to dismiss old tales and legends as mere stories, but sometimes, the darkness they speak of is more real than we care to admit. What haunts me most isn't just the fear of what we encountered, but the lingering feeling that we brought something back with us. The whispers, the pull, the change in Jess, it all suggests that the woods have a way of seeping into your soul, of altering your reality. I've tried to move on, to pretend it was just a nightmare, but the truth is, the woods are still calling. They're in my dreams, in the rustling of the leaves, and sometimes, I swear I can hear Jess's voice, lost and changed, beckoning me back. This experience has made me question the boundaries of our world. Are there forces out there we can't comprehend? Places where the veil between worlds is thin? I don't have the answers, but I do know one thing: the Whispering Woods changed us, and I'm not sure we'll ever be the same. Hey, horror fans. If you enjoyed our chilling tale and want to keep the spine-tingling stories coming, don't forget to hit that like button. Your support keeps the darkness alive. Share this video with your friends, let's spread the fear together. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you never miss a hair-raising moment. Join our community of thrill seekers and prepare for more eerie adventures. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay scared.